All right. Good evening, everyone. Okay, welcome to the book launch of Tito Almadin's second book, Beyond the Silence, Helping Someone Cope with Depression. Thank you so much for joining us for a conversation with Tito Almadin. We're so excited to hear from him in a bit. My name is Michelle Ople and I am honored to be your host for this evening. Actually, kasama ko lang si Tito yesterday and it's such an honor to be able to learn from him 2 days straight in a row. So we're actually very excited and we hope you are too for this very, very timely book launch for a very, very relevant matter. So, okay, for those in FB Live, of course, please type in any questions that you have about depression or about the book, and we will be sure to answer that later on. And of course, please participate as we will have an icebreaker session in a bit. Ayan, so kasi to kick things off, we want to be able to ask you guys some questions that we can have fun with while waiting for Doc Tito. So I think meron tayong na-prepare na parang ruleta for that one. Shall we flash that on screen? Ayan. So there are 10 questions here. And if you are on FB Live, please do participate in the chat room for the answers to the questions. Okay, so for our first question, what is depression? Letter A, a clinical case. Letter B, a political case. Letter C, a familiar case. And letter D, case-to-case basis. Okay. Do we have answers there? Okay, parang hindi pa tayo naka-live. Are we already live? Okay, so wala pang answer sa ating question. Maybe we can flash the answer already. Okay, so the answer is letter A. It's a clinical case. Okay. Sige, no answers for that question yet. Let's go for the second question. So the second question is, what month is World Mental Health Month? So what month is the World Mental Health Month? It's letter A, December, letter B, October, letter C, March, and letter D, September. Okay, the answer is letter B, October. Okay, hope many of you got that correct. Our third question. Okay, our third question is, what is the name of Doc Tito's FB live show? Oh, okay, yung mga kaibigan niya, siguro alam niya yan. Letter A, Mental Health Matters. Letter B, Beyond Good Advice. Letter C, Life Without Limits. And letter D, Boundaries. So ulitin ko, what is the name of Doc Tito's FB live show? Is it letter A, Mental Health Matters? Letter B, Beyond Good Advice. Letter C, Life Without Limits. Or letter D, Boundaries. Okay. The answer is letter A, mental health matters. Okay. Hope you guys are getting the answers. We'll announce the winners later. Okay, our next question is, what could be Doc Tito's hashtag for this book launch? Okay. What could be Doc Tito's hashtag for this book launch? Letter A, hashtag love is blind. Letter B, hugot pa more. Letter C, stop depression, save a life. Letter D, boundaries. Okay, so what could be Doc Tita's hashtag for this launching? Letter A, hashtag love is blind. Letter B, hugot pa more. Letter C, stop depression, save a life. And letter D, boundaries. So the answer is letter C, stop depression, save a life. Okay. Next question. What is not a happy hormone? Okay, so what is not a happy hormone? Letter A, dopamine. Letter B, oxytocin. Letter C, cortisol. Letter D, serotonin. And letter E, endorphins. So what is not a happy hormone? Letter A, dopamine. Letter B, oxytocin. Letter C, cortisol. Letter D, serotonin. And letter E, endorphins. Okay, type in your answers because the answer is letter C. Cortisol is not a happy hormone. Ayan, stress hormone ata yun. I'm not mistaken. Okay, next question. This is a fun question. What is BTS according to Doc Tito? What is BTS according to Doc Tito? Is it letter A Korean pop group? Letter B, Beyond the Silence book? Letter C, ice cream brand? And letter D, shampoo brand. So pag tinanong natin si Doc Tito, what is BTS? Ang isasagot niya ba ay A, Korean pop group, B, Beyond the Silence book, C, ice cream brand, or D, shampoo brand? Okay. The obvious answer is his second book na pala, letter B, Beyond the Silence book. Grabe, Doc Tito. Four more questions for our icebreaker. Next question is, okay, what do you call a medical doctor that diagnoses mental health disorders? Is it A, cardiologist, letter B, pediatrician, letter C, obstetrician, or letter D, psychiatrist? So what do you call a medical doctor that diagnoses a mental health disorder? Is it A, cardiologist, B, pediatrician, C, obstetrician, or D, psychiatrist? Okay. You can see the answers. Letter D po ang sagot. Psychiatrist ang nag-diagnose ng mental health disorder. Three more questions for our icebreaker. We will be announcing the winners later. Okay, so what is the complete title of Doc Tito's latest book? What is the complete title of Doc Tito's latest book? Is it A, Beyond Good Advice, Your Guide to Bible-Based Counseling? Letter B, Grieving with Great Hope? Letter C, Beyond the Silence, Helping People Cope with Depression? Or letter D, Beyond the Silence, Helping Someone Cope with Depression? Wow, medyo mahirap to ah. What is the complete title of Doc Tito's latest book and the launch for today? Beyond Good Advice, your guide to Bible-based counseling, Grieving with Great Hope, or Beyond the Silence, helping people cope with depression, or Beyond the Silence, helping someone cope with depression. I'm seeing the correct answers. The correct answer is Beyond the Silence, helping someone cope with depression. Yes, very good. Sa mga sumagot ng letter D. Okay. Bilis sumagot. Two more questions. The next question is, what is the current job? Is he A showbiz personality, letter B, a civil engineer, letter C, a mental health counselor, or letter D, guidance counselor? So what is his current job? A, showbiz personality, B, civil engineer, C, mental health counselor, or letter D, guidance counselor? The answer is A, joke lang. Letter C, mental health counselor. Okay. And the last question for our icebreaker. What is not a mental health case? So what is not a mental health case? Letter A, an anxiety attack. Letter B, depression. Letter C, panic attack. Or letter D, diabetes. So what is not a mental health case? A, anxiety attack. B, depression. C, panic attack. Or D, diabetes. Okay, the answer is D, diabetes. Oo. Blood, ano yan? Autoimmune case. Blood sugar case. Thank you so much for joining us in that icebreaker. Grabe, ang bibilis niyo sumagot. I hope you all enjoyed that. That's just a teaser of what's to come. If you have questions later on, or if some of those were actually your questions, just type it in the FB chat so that we can read it later on during the question and answer portion. So let's shift gears now and let's talk about why you're here, of course, the book launch. So as we all know, this event is in support of Doc Tito's new book, Beyond the Silence. So we'd like to thank everyone who's making the time right now to join us online for the book's soft launch. So we have a lot planned for you this evening, in addition to the great insights that we can expect from Doc Tito. Of course, alam mo kahapon, I just mentioned, kahapon we were with him. Yung kanina, Grieving with Great Hope, that was the talk that he gave to a lot of our media friends yesterday sa PR event namin. And imagine today, he still has all the energy to be able to come here and launch his book and of course engage you guys with your questions. So please later on just type in the FB chat box all of your questions as they come to your mind, and we will make sure to try to read all of them later on, because Doc Tito loves answering the questions. So we'll have the opportunity later to be able to ask him all those questions live. So to start our evening, and to give you insight onto who our speaker is, who Doc Tito is, and what this book is all about, please watch this short video.
So many lives and continues to be a threat to all of us here in the Philippines and around the world. The numbers continue to rise, and the battle is not yet over. But alongside COVID is another pandemic, the Big D, depression, which according to the World Health Organization has affected over 300 million people worldwide, 3 million and more cases of which are Filipinos. Following the success of his first book, Beyond Good Advice, and professional mental health counselor Dr. Tito Almadin has finished another book, Beyond the Silence, helping someone cope with depression. Dr. Tito holds a doctorate degree of ministry in pastoral studies and is a licensed clinical pastoral counselor. Beyond the Silence, helping someone cope with depression should be in every household, library, office, and coffee shop so that everyone may be aware of the value of self-care and help others overcome mental challenges. Get the chance to win a copy and get more insights from Dr. Tito Almadin, host of the online show Mental Health Matters, on his online book launch this May 29th, Saturday at 6 p.m. Only on Sustainable PH TV.
All right, and that book launch is happening right now. Of course, Doc Tito Almadin, our speaker for today, and of course, the author of this book, or Pastor Tito to us, is a vocational minister, professional mental health, and former guidance counselor of San Beda University and Every Nation Leadership Institute, and a licensed clinical counselor, all rolled into one. So he has been in the pastoral counseling ministry for 3 decades, o diba? Hindi obvious, and has counseled many people from different walks of life, from the children to the elderly. So Doc Tito has been educated and trained in the field of psychology, theology, education, mental health, emotional intelligence, and Christian counseling. His education, giftings, and advocacy for mental, emotional, and spiritual health perfectly fits in his mental health counseling platform. So this is so relevant and so helpful indeed during this pandemic, of course. Doc Tito believes in his ministry life principle. The best gift that you could ever give to your family and friends is your healthy well-being. So that's why we're all here today to learn more about that one. And true enough, Doc Tito has been a strong advocate of mental and spiritual health care in his entire career as a clinical pastoral counselor. So the product of which is the book that we are about to launch in a while. So Beyond the Silence, Helping Someone Cope with Depression was written to educate us the proper way on how to show sympathy and compassion to people who are experiencing depression, of course, depressive episodes in life. So I was blessed enough to receive an advanced copy of it. And what I love about it is how it first details that depression is real, because I think it's such a theoretical concept to all of us. And because of that, it's such a concept. Because of that, we don't immediately know or recognize the signs that we are undergoing depression. So Doc Tito really skillfully integrates his studies in the areas of psychology, theology, and Christian counseling, and gears all of that towards giving practical insights and guided steps. Yun ang pinaka-importante in helping understand ourselves and other people's mental and emotional health conditions, lalong-lalo na during this pandemic when people are trying to just hold it in and try to just be strong, pero meron na palang pinagdadaanan. So this book adheres to the author's principle that man needs holistic healing mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, and spiritually. So of course, Doc Tito always points to God, the scripture, and God's gift of psychology and neurology for holistic healing process. So actually, if you go through the book, there are 7 chapters in it. It takes you through that journey of recognizing what depression is and how to go through the process of identifying it and really addressing the concerns in it. So there are 7 chapters. It starts with perspective and then goes into definition and description of depression, the root causes of depression, the signs and symptoms, and then chapter 5 is my favorite, when to advise a friend or to seek professional help. I actually asked Doc Tito this yesterday. Tanungin din natin sa Q&A, ano ang diferensya kung makikipag-inuman ka na lang sa friends or you will seek professional help? Yan, tanungin niyo yan mamaya. Ang ganda na sagot niya dyan. And then there's chapter 6, using psychological first aid to help a friend, and frequently asked questions. So as I said, Q&A is a very, very important part of this program. So please do type in your questions on FB Live so we'll be able to read them. And nako, gustong-gusto ni Doc Tito to engage these questions and answer them live as well. So the author hopes and prays that this book, Beyond the Silence, will serve as an inspiration to stop the stigma of labeling people with mental health challenges. And of course, help save lives. So thus, the hashtag, if you were able to answer it in hashtag Stop Depression, Save a Life. So hashtag Stop Depression, Save a Life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll let him do more of the talking now. Please welcome the author of Beyond the Silence, Doc Tito Almadin.
Hi, thank you so much, Mitch, for those nice introduction and comments. No? On my behalf, I'm so happy to really finally launch my book. This Beyond Good Advice book is dedicated now to my beloved parents. You know, the Bible says we have to honor our father and mother, no? My father is Crispin Almadin and my mom, late mom, is Fermina Almadin. They're both already deceased, and we'd like to honor them with this book that I have right now. Thank you, Nay and Tai, for nurturing my inner being with great values of hard work, generosity, in good deeds, and love for humanity. Alam niyo, yung DNA ng parents ko talagang dumadaloy sa akin dugo sa ngayong advocacy ko. No? And thank you so much for imparting your life to me, Mom and Dad, for investing in my education and showing the value of humility, love, and responsibility. Grabe lang yung mga bagay na mga tinuro sa akin ng magulang. That's why in my very, very heart, that's part of my book, is that, you know, in the first few chapters and pages of my book, I said that the struggle is really real. According to World Health Organization, no, there are estimated 300 million people in the world, over 3 million in the Philippines are experiencing the big D of what we call depression and other related mental health conditions. You know, the phenomenal increase of mental health cases in the last 10 years is very phenomenal, to say the least. We need to fight and survive and maintain our sanity in this crazy and broken world. But we cannot fight this one and this battle alone. We need the healing community. Our family, our friends, our loved ones, our medical professional, our pastor, our priest, our spiritual advisor and life coaches and mentor. And most importantly, our Lord Jesus Christ, who's the great healer and comforter of our life. It is once said by one person, he said, the best place in the world is in the arms of someone who will not only hug you and hold you at your best, but will pick you up and let you feel the embrace at your weakest point. You know, people who are depressed right now, they need our understanding, loving, care in everything. Many people may ask me right now, why Beyond the Silence? First, I want to break the mystery behind the deafening silence behind the discussion of depression. You know, depression worldwide remains to be a stigma. To many, and a common lie that is a battle that you can only fight alone. That's a very great lie. And no one could really understand us, what we're going through. We need to intend to create a great awareness that help and healing is always available. That's why that is the main purpose of this book. This is a source for help and knowing that healing is available for you. Second, why Beyond the Silence? Because it's my heart's desire to bring a level of compassion, that kind of compassionate understanding on the silence behind depression. You know, some people who are even depressed, they're being labeled, they're being judged rather than being helped. So this book will help us to develop and to have the heart of compassion, sympathy, and even empathy. We need to find and attempt to find some answers to the question of why people become desperate, sad, and isolated. And when we expose the root causes, being able to know the root cause of their depression, being able to understand the signs and symptoms for our friends and family, then we can give a guided step. That's why in this book, there are some guided steps in one chapter of this book to help us to find answers to life meanings. With all this happening in this world, I am persuaded this is a 2-year journey of writing this book to share my knowledge, my experience as a 3-decade professional counselor, and my life as a pastor, and give godly wisdom from the book of the Bible, a psychological understanding, and the counseling experience that I have to the 3 decades of my profession as a mental health counselor. I intend to help more people who are undergoing mental health challenges with my clear and sound understanding of the psychological and spiritual perspective. It enables me and persuaded me and inspired me to offer practical ways, simple ways, understandable ways to have a psycho-spiritual first aid to those who are in need. You don't need to be a professional to understand this book. I already written a book that is very understandable and palatable to our own sense of understanding. My goal in this book is to provide godly counsel, to give a sense of hope to the hopeless and a sense of help to the helpless, so that they may be able to find beauty, value, and regain their purpose in life. More so, I would like to encourage more people to develop a new mindset, a new lifestyle, to acquire a new kind of faith to the Lord so that they can live a happier and peaceful life. One author says, Publius Sirius said, the pain of the mind is worse than the pain of the body. True enough, right? Then people who have committed suicidal attempts, really they cannot contain and bear the pain of a lot of mental discouragement. That's why we people who are not suffering, we need to be sensitive to our emotional heartbreak and mental anguish of those who are experiencing depression in our life. Let us not invalidate people's feeling by just saying, mag-move on ka na. Napakadaling sabihin kasi po hindi natin nararamdaman. Pero pag ikaw nandun na, napakahirap yan. Rather than saying that, we say, I understand how you feel. How could I be helpful for you? People need to be respected, not to be labeled. People need to be honored, not to be judged. People need to be encouraged and affirmed their dignity, their integrity, and their well-being as a person. So our feelings of depression is not a disorder in itself. I don't call any kind of clinical case on my end as a disorder. Rather, I called it a condition because in my end, in my perspective, all mental health disorders are just temporary. So as a counselor, as a pastoral counselor, our mental health disorders or mental health conditions is not our identity. It doesn't define who we are. I understand how you feel. That's the way it should be. You can stand up and start believing in yourself once again and get back to your rhythm of your life, work, family time, and a healthy self-care for you in your life. That's why our hashtag, okay, I hope you will let this be a part of your social media hashtag. Stop depression, save a life. That is the hashtag of Beyond the Silence. Stop depression and save a life. Remember that being happy doesn't mean you have everything that you have in life, but it only simply means that we are thankful for all that you have. If you drop the ball, remember you're not the ball. Take care of the ball and set your target and your goal next time. And lastly, take time to laugh and be happy, even in small things. Remember, life is short. What is the purpose of this book? The purpose of this book is to create awareness on how to combat and prevent depression into our life. A kernel of awareness really counts a lot it makes a great difference if we are aware of what is happening into our lives. We have to make it a point that we learn some basic ways on how to take care of ourselves and self-care and our soul, what we call soul care. This book is written also and given guided steps on how to help people undergoing depression. It might be your friend, your family members, or you yourself, you want to learn something to prevent it happening to your life, or maybe give it to a friend who is having some symptom of depression in your life. This book is also written to provide hope and healing for the depressed. If you're already depressed, of course, you have to go to a medical professional, a psychiatrist, to be diagnosed. And people coming to me, I always tell them I refer you to a very good psychiatrist. And after you've been diagnosed, we'll go back to me and then we'll go to a professional counseling therapy. So that's how I do it because I want to give meaning and life and a sense of significance to godly counsel and professional counseling. So just like Mitch says, there are 7 chapters of this book about perspective, the definition of depression, the root causes, the sign and symptom of depression, and this is a good thing, when to advise a friend to seek professional help. Using psychological first aid to aid a friend. Sometimes when we see people and encounter some people, friends and family, we don't know what to do. And this book will give you some guide. What can you do? We can do something. Believe you me, we can do something to help your friend and family members fight depression. And I know most of us Filipinos don't want to read a long book. They go straight to their questions. So I planted 35 questions in my book. In the last chapter, frequently asked questions. And it's like a summary of the first 6 chapters. And the highlight of this, every chapter, I've written a testimony of some of my clients. Of course, they're anonymous. We tweak a bit of their story so that it's not predictable who they are. We don't reveal their names. And you can see how they were able to cope, thrive, and even overcome depression in their life. So these are people who I have counseled through the years, and those it only shows one thing: there's healing in depression. So thank you so much. And this book will never be realized or will come at this point of writing without these people who helped me a lot. This is not about Doc Tito. Ako lang po yung sumulat pero napakarami pong tumulong sa akin. Unang-unang aking mga Beyond Good Advice team. No? Unahin po natin si Miss Chris Manuel sa kanyang careful editing of my book. Si Algin Gapo and KP Ambas sa kanilang, wow, ang ganda ng design nila, no? Cover design. Si Ayla, okay, Manuel, siya po yung nag-layout ng design natin, yung book cover. Si Giselle Ayla Manuel, no? Of course, my good friend, Aaron Magalong, siya naman po yung nag-layout ng mga book. Ganyan po talaga gumawa ng book. Napakarami pong kailangan ng mga taong kailangan nating katulong para maging excellent po yung book. And of course, my grateful thanks to my good friend Jason Law of the Unique Publishing, my publisher of this book, for publishing my book. And of course, my good friend also, Mr. Roy Amoral for Trimega Business for printing my book. Okay? To Doc June Aguilar and Doc Ryan Carnero, our medical doctors, I gave this a copy of the book so that they can review. Baka meron ako mga hindi nakita o mga bagay na nakita ko pero hindi tama medically. I went to 2 doctors so that they can see para okay siya, medically speaking. And of course, to my wife, Carol, my constant inspiration, my son, Ansel, for the happiness that they gave my life all throughout this lifetime. So thank you so much, no? And those people who are given some comments in my book, si Roderick Landayag, Okay, si Joshua Zamora, the maneuver dancer. Okay, si Attorney Carlo Benito Cruz, a businessman, the owner of Don Benito's Cassava Cake. And Joe Damango is now a pastor and a former DJ of Love Notes. Okay, Miss Via Antonio Ruiz, okay, a movie actress and now a counseling student. Okay, so thank you so much for all these people who have written something in my book, no, and comment about me and my writing. So with all these people, I'm so grateful, and of course, more than anything else, thank you, Lord Jesus, the great counselor, the great wisdom giver, the great healer of my soul. Thank you so much for everything. God bless. And of course, not the least, the foreword of this book is Miss Jody Santa Maria, our versatile actress in the Philippines, for his inspiring foreword in this book. He's my good friend as well. So thank you so much, Jody. So just for today, until 12 midnight, okay, our book price, special price is pegged at 350 pesos. Plus, of course, your delivery fee, wherever you are, we'll deliver it. We'll charge the delivery to you. Okay? Up tomorrow, 12:01 in the morning of May 30, it will be back for 495. So now you can grab and just message me in my Tito G Almadin or my Facebook account, okay, at Beyond Good Advice Facebook page or my Instagram account. Just send in your name, address, barangay, contact number, and send the photo payment, and then we'll send you the book as soon as we fix them and arrange that for you. So those people who are a winner, no, mamaya bigay nyo rin yung mga names and addresses and contact number. We'll send you your gift and your prize for the book. No, 10 kayo diyan. No, mamaya i-announce natin kung sino yung mga 10 yan, no. And this is you can go through GCash and pay through GCash in my account 0917-561-3840, or can do a bank online transfer 007270076682 in my Banco de Oro account. Just make a screenshot of your GCash or your bank deposit for your payment, and then we'll send you the book for your orders. Okay. Thank you so much, and that's for all on my end. Thank you so much, Mitch. God bless you, and God.
Okay, ayan. Thank you, Doc Tito. Nako, grab the book na, that special price. Ako, I'm very happy to have one, but I'm actually purchasing a few as well from Doc Tito. Ang dami pong matutulungan ng book ninyo. And alam mo, what you said kanina, Doc Tito, ang galing eh. Kasi you not only identify the reality that depression is, but you show us that there is, sa akin, 3 H's. There is hope, ayan, there is help, and there is healing. So ang galing eh, kasi mahirap kasi if you just say, okay, depression is real, and then this is what it is, without solving it, diba, Doc Tito? But what I really love about this book is it takes us through the process of solving it, of helping someone through it, and, you know, really showing that God is bigger than this problem. So, ang galing. So, thank you so much, Doc Tito, for giving us that preview. I'm sure a lot of our friends in Facebook are so excited. Ang daming hearts. I can see a lot of hearts. Heart lang po. Pero at this point, nako, let's go to question and answer. Ito yung favorite part ni Doc Tito. He loves answering questions. So, please type in your questions sa ating FB chat. I can see it right here along with the hearts and the likes. Thank you for that. And of course, remember, if you're going to post about this launch or the book or any of the insights, remember our hashtag, Stop Depression, Save a Life. So our hashtag is Stop Depression, Save a Life. So please type in your questions and we'll be reading them. But while we're waiting for that, I have a few questions here while we're waiting for our friends to type in their questions sa FB stream. I guess we can start. Again, the reality of depression, Doc Tito. Why is it life-threatening? Diba, the concept itself feels so foreign. But the reality is, it is a clinical case. Why is it life-threatening?
like any kind of disease and disorder, Mitch, no? It's depression is a clinical case. It means that there's a bodily fluid, no? Chemical imbalance or maybe hormonal imbalance that affects our brain. And somehow, what affects our brain, we cannot no longer contain the pain. Sabi nga kanina, di ba? The pain of the mind is greater than the pain of the body. And we are so confused, we are so disoriented, we are so paranoid. We feel a lot of anxiety, a lot of paranoia, trust issue, name you. If you are depressed, you think a lot of weird things. And sometimes it's better for a person to end their life rather than undergo the ordeal of depression. That's why depression is really been my heart desire to help people to find help, hope, and healing in their life as well. That's why it's life threatening. That's why we need. It's a World Health Organization that every 40 seconds, one person died of suicide just because of depression.
Okay, we have a question here from Abby Solito. Ano pong unang dapat gawin kapag may kaibigan ka na nade-depress?
Yan. Ang ganda niyan. Nandito yan sa libro natin. How to help your friend. Okay, how to advise your friend. No? To find a friend. But you know, if you're just a friend, you want to go there, just have a listening ear. Let them feel that they're important, they're valuable, they can do something for their life. There's always hope and there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Just let them give your attention. Pakainin natin. Lagyan natin konting hangin sa kapaligiran. At bigyan natin ng masarap na pagkain. Yun ang tawag natin doon, psychological first aid. No? At pag okay na siya, pwede natin silang i-refer sa ating mga medical profession, pwede sa psychiatrist for medication and diagnosis, pwede sa psychologist para makita yung behavioral pattern nila, pwede sa psychotherapist para maayos yung kanilang ginagawa, yung routine nila, and of course, the mental health counselor will give you some ways on how to cope and maintain a balance of your sanity and lifestyle.
Right. Thank you for that, Doc Tito. We have now, the questions are coming in. Si Janice Planega, how do you know that you have been totally healed from depression? And can depression recur after years of healing? Ayan.
Oh yes, indeed. If the same trigger, the same people, there's no processing of depression in your life, and you did not change the way you think and your lifestyle, depression can recur again. 5 symptoms of depression: lack of sleep, lack of appetite, social isolation, extreme sadness, suicidal ideation, or self-harm. If you have those things, in 2 to 6 weeks' time, you need to be diagnosed by a medical professional. You need to be medicated. Someone has to counsel over you. You need some talk therapy or psycho-spiritual therapy, which I do. Then that's how it should be, so that it would not recur again.
Ito, Doc Tito, you sort of alluded to this na kanina, but who are the key people who can help someone who is depressed?
Yeah. Ang first line of defense talaga, family. So when people come to me for depression, I ask them, are there some members of the family who can understand you, who you could trust, that could support you? That's the first line. Kasi sila yung nakatira, sila yung nakakakilala sa kanila, di ba? So we need to. Pag wala naman, minsan sasabihin nga, Doc, ang trigger ko, family. O hanap ka ng kaibigan kung trigger mo yung family. Hanap ka ng trusted friend in a very safe environment para makatulong ka, mahinga mo yung damdamin mo, yung hinain, and then you'll be able to augment. And then later on, pag okay na siya, Mitch, no? Yung sabi mo, yung tanong mo sa akin kahapon, bakit? Inuman na lang tayo para mawala na yung depression natin. Yung tanong mo sa akin kahapon, sabi ko, oo naman, mamayang gabi, tulog ka, bukas, andun pa rin yung depression mo, andun pa rin yung problema mo. So yung ginastos mo sa pinag-inom mo, gayad mo na lang doon sa professional, gumaling ka pa.
Yan. Meron kasi mga nagsasabi yun, baliktad yung ibabayad mo, doon na lang sa inuman. Pero wala nga namang solusyon na nagaganap.
May hangover ka pa nun.
Nagkaroon pa ng isa pang clinical na problem. Ito, Doc Tito, ang ganda ng tanong ni Ida Marquez. I think she would like you to share a bit. Were there times daw ba, Doc, na ikaw naman yung na-depress? Ano yung ginawa mo? And kung na-depress daw ba siya, is God enough? Or do you need a friend or people?
Oh yeah. Wala naman tayong exemption sa depression. Kahit sino pwede. Kasi ako, marami rin akong kilala ng mga counselor, mga psychiatrist, psychologists. Nagkakaroon din. Tao lang naman din tayo. That's why we are all vulnerable and susceptible to any kind of mental or emotional condition or disorder for that matter. Ang tanong natin parating ganito, Mitch. You have the power to choose what kind of life you have. Life is a matter of choice. You want to be happy? You can be happy. You want to be desperate? You could be desperate. You want to be depressed? You can be depressed. But it's not the way it should be. God wanted us to live a happy, peaceful, and comfortable life. Meaningful and with sense of significance.
Yes. Ang ganda rin ng tanong nitong si Gwen Meneses, ano po ang difference ng sadness sa depression? Ilang days or weeks ang symptoms para masabing depression na siya?
O naman, lahat naman tayo nasasad, di ba? Lahat naman nalulungkot tayo. Kasi may emosyon tayo eh. Ang tanong natin, paano yung sadness nagiging depression? Pag humaba yung panahon. Sadness itself is not one big sign of depression. Marami pa, di ba? Binigay ko 5. Kung sadness, pwede naman siguro, right? Broken heart ka, o loss of job, o a loved one, may grief ka, di ba? Yung discussion natin kahapon. Temporary lang siya. Pero pag naging permanent yan, naging clinical, matagal, 2 to 6 weeks, hindi ka na makatulog, hindi ka makakain, ayaw kumausap ng tao, sobrang lungkot-lungkot mo, tapos nag-access self-harm ka na, nakakayon. Lumagpas ka na, ang tawag natin, lumagpas ka na sa borderline. Yeah. Parang yan, di ba? Pag sumagpas ka sa borderline, you're gonna lose your mind.
Okay. So, we have to be really mindful of that. Yung line na yan, yung fine line na yan before someone actually crosses over to what is already a clinical case. Sabi naman ni Bernadette Santos Macay, sabi niya, Filipinos are known to be happy people, but there is an increase in the number of depression cases. So, ang Pinoy matatag at laging nakikita ang masaya sa isang bagay. Pero this past 5 to 10 years, dumadami na nga yung depression cases. Bakit kaya? From Doc Arnel.
Alam mo, maraming dahilan eh. Pero ako, isa yung nakikita kong dahilan. Masyado nating pinababayaan yung sarili natin. Yung tinatawag ko parating self-care. Kala natin nating kaya. Kala natin kaya nating ayusin ang lahat ng bagay na walang tulong ng kapwa natin. Kaya natin na mabuhay na mag-isa. And all those kind of independence in life bring us to a close of this pandemic, lalo na itong pandemic, na nangyayari, ang dami na depressed rin talaga because a lot of social isolation and a lot of matter that is happening right now. So yung baka nangyayaring ganyan, totoo yan, no? We're a happy people. Pero minsan sa likod ng happiness, may kalungkutan eh. Na ayaw nating pakita yung lungkot natin, gusto lang natin yung facade ng happy. Kaya later on, yung sadness na-overtake tayo, na-override yung happiness ng depression. And sometimes nakangiti. Example lang natin, no? Si Robbie Williams sa US. He's the best comedian of all time. Who knows na nagkaroon pala siya ng depression.
Right.
He committed a suicide later on, di ba? Nakita natin. Alam naman ng buong news yun. Nagkaroon ng ganyan. So it's not a guarantee. That's why it's always better to ask someone if you are feeling weird, if you're thinking some weird things or mental pain or emotional pain, huwag natin patagalin. Tulungan natin sa sarili natin to ask for help.
Oh, ang ganda niyan, huwag patagalin kasi masyado tayong parang kinikip to ourselves, no? Kung ano yung mga hangga't kaya pa. hanggat kaya pa raw, mahirap naman pag umabot na sa hindi na kaya, di ba? Sabi naman ni Lenny Maslog, congratulations for your new book. If I may ask, what's the approach for someone, very interesting, who closes off or blocks communication in case of emotional crisis or extreme stress? Oh, ayan. Some people cope with it that way. Parang, off ko na lang.
Yeah, yan ang natural defense mechanism ng maraming tao na they want to shut off. And that's a sign of something wrong, no? Ano gagawin natin? Kung meron kang close friend na hindi ikaw mismo pupunta directly dun sa friend mo, pwede ka mag-navigate ng way para malaman yung condition niya and try to find, siguro kapatid, magulang, o extra friend na malalaman mo and how you could help. Pero minsan yung mga tao, hindi ikaw yung gusto. Baka ikaw nga yung trigger.
Ikaw yung trigger. Paano yun?
Ikaw yung trigger, no? So, tumahimik ka na lang. Hanap ka ng tao, tingin mo na makakatulong sa kanya. That will help a lot, no? At ngayon, minsan yung mga taong ganyan, Mitch, kailangan nila ng time and space. Minsan ayaw lang nila magulo. Baka yung iba hindi naman depressed eh. Gusto na lang muna mag-isa muna, mag-munimuni, mag-calm down. Huwag tayo ma-alarm kagad. No? Pero kung isang buwan na yan, yun, medyo magtanong-tanong na tayo. No?
Right.
Of course, sabi ko, ang first line of defense is family. And second line of defense are close friends.
Right. And I think to your point kanina, the way in is family. Pwede mo rin tanongin, the family would know pag parang medyo unusual na, no? Meron ng mga signs. So this is a very interesting question. What can you say from Miss Carmencita? What can you say about antidepressant drugs that are prescribed by neuropsychiatrists? Does it help? There's been questions on medication.
Yeah. Kung yan ay binigay ng isang neurologist o psychiatrist, I think we cannot question the validity of their diagnosis and medication. Kasi una, napag-aralan nila na napakahabang panahon yan, Mitch, no? I'm not a psychiatrist, neither I am a neurologist. But, I always respect them. Because they're the one who knows that better than us. Kasi hindi natin alam yung mga yan eh. Pero kasi meron akong kaibigan na psychiatrist, pag siya nag-diagnose, nag-medicate, binibigyan niya ng choices yung tao. Binibigyan niya minsan 4 o 5 kinds of medicine. Titingnan niya daw kung ano yung hiyang sa kanya, at ano yung mga katulong sa kanya na less ang side effect. At 3 o 4 na yung mga client ko na sabi, Doc, talagang effective sa akin. Nahanap ko yung tamang gamot. Na, kasi bawat katawan may kanya-kanyang bodily composition yan, di ba? Depende ko ano yung hiyang sa katawan mo. So yun, I cannot comment on that, Carmen, but I trust, mag-bargain ka dun sa neurologist o psychiatrist mo. Sabi mo, Doc, baka kailangan naman ng ano bang mas maganda kung slow dosage muna, unti-unti, o ano yung medyo maliit lang muna, hindi yung matapang. Pwede natin sabihin yun kasi our doctors knows best.
Right. So also, I guess, really have a trusted doctor then, lalo na if you're gonna be going towards that part na professional help already. Maganda yung may nakakapag-usap kayo, especially with these kinds of questions. So I guess we have room for 2 more questions. From Precious naman, what is the best way to encourage or stand by someone na family member na palaging sinasabi out of nowhere na sana mamatay na lang daw siya? Kunwari parent. Ayan. How would you best deal with that scenario?
Alam mo, huwag mo kagad kukontrahin. Kailangan pakinggan mo muna. Bigyan mo muna ng tender loving care and understanding and shower them with love and care. Minsan bukso lang ng damdamin dahil masakit ang puso, sensitive, masama ang loob. Not necessarily gagawin nila. Pero siyempre, bantay rin tayo kasi we can never be sure. Ang mahalaga, tanungin natin, ano ba yung felt need at the moment, no? Kung tayo mag-speculate, ano ba yung pangangailangan niya sa kasalukuyan para mabigyan natin ng solusyon o tulong yung ating mga elderly.
Okay. Naku, we are running out of time. for those na hindi pa nasasagot yung mga questions, please just send Doc Tito a private message. It's Tito G Almadin on Facebook. Maraming salamat po. Nako, Doc, ang dami talagang mga tanong. But we know you love answering them. So PM nyo lang. PM is the key kay Doc Tito. Okay. And yon, para he would be able to really engage your questions. Again, thank you. Ang daming mga nagtanong, Doc Tito. And there are really a lot of people very curious about a lot of things on depression. And thank you, Doc Tito, for taking the time to answer those questions as well. Ayan, sorry, we are running out of time and our event is coming to a close. So thank you so much, Doc Tito, for just having a conversation with us and really blessing us with another book. Sana meron pa ulit. More books to come, Doc Tito. Ayan, Beyond the Silence. Thank you so much for joining us here at this FB Live broadcast and for your orders. You mentioned kanina special price today until 12:01 a.m. Please take advantage of that. So just message any of Doc Tito's social media handles in FB and Instagram. It's at Beyond Good Advice, and at FB Messenger. Again, for your questions or orders, it's Tito G Almadin. Ayan. So thank you for joining us. At this point, I just want to read the names of the winners. Nung icebreaker kanina, yung mga mabilis mag-type. O, diba? At walang problem sa internet connection. Ayan. We want to be able to read. There are 10 winners for each of the questions. And we will have a prize for them. The following are Gwen Meneses. Congratulations. Erica Hoson. Maya Tablang. Abby Solito. Mariah Faith Samante, Andrea Bonsai, Kat Punzal, Michelle Pasage, Precious Sanidad, and Marverick Ortiz. Congratulations. Someone from Doc Tito's team will be getting in touch with you for your name, contact number, and address. You are getting a signed copy of Beyond the Silence from Doc Tito himself. So he will be delivering that as soon as possible. And as soon as you give your contact number and address to, of course, our team members who will be in touch with you. We'll also, I guess, post this later on sa FB event page. Congratulations to all of you. And guys, promise, this is such an enlightening book. And you're getting your hands in it for free. But for those who will be ordering, take advantage of the special offer until 12:01 tonight. So once again, Doc Tito, thank you very much and God bless you for really blessing all of us with your knowledge. 3 decades worth na hindi naman halata. Doc Tito, thank you so much. We are blessed by your book. Thank you for joining us, everybody. There was about 70 earlier. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a pleasant evening, everybody. Thank you.